Alrighty, folks, it is time to check in with what is going on in the real estate slash mortgage business. Obviously, the last 10, 11 days have been very traumatic for the world. We have started a war with Iran. Just last night, we had ships sunk or at least attacked. I think one apparently is sinking, but hopefully it gets saved. And what has happened? Mortgage rates have gone up, 10-year notes gone up, threat of inflation's gone up. And I'm going to guess that consumers do what they always do, and that is they pull back. They get nervous. They get scared when something like this happens. But hey, we're going to talk with Matt, the mortgage guy, because maybe I'm wrong. What are you seeing, buddy? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix of things, but it's interesting. That's one thing I will say. And, to your point, people that have been paying attention understand, what's going on with Iran has upward pressure on mortgage rates, to keep it really simple, right? Whether, that's uncertainty or inflation or, oil prices, a mixture of a bunch of different things. But mortgage rates have gone up over the last couple of weeks. We saw mortgage rates get under 6%. We saw, the beginning of 2026 start off with a lot of tailwind. People were excited. A lot of people were refinancing. Me and my office, we did a ton of refinance. We had people that were, jumping off the fence, numbers we hadn't seen in 3, 4, 5 years on pre-approvals, and people just, either entering the market for the first time or re-entering after they had, poked around, got pre-approved 6, 9, 12 months ago and re-emerged. And while some of that still exists, and I'm still doing a lot of refinance scenarios day in and day out, and for people that are paying attention, rates might have gone on a 30-year fixed average that Mortgage News Daily kind of reports on. I think, 5.9 low to 6.2 high. Now we're back settled into 6.09.
Yeah.
This isn't like a 1% swing, right? This is,
but Matt, it's that psychological 599 to not 599. That little psychological barrier is just, we have now learned for the third time that number is meaningful.
Right. And I think it is to a certain extent. I also think, if we look at, current state of the market, buyer sentiment, enthusiasm, whatever label you want to put at it, there is a certain degree of uncertainty. And I think that, foreign affairs, politics is one thing. I think AI has also reached this point where the excitement might be fading, and now there's some fear setting in. So
you have a company like Block lay off 40% of their people. That'll get your attention. I mean, that'll wake up the Silicon Valley. It's like, oh my gosh, somebody talk about 40%.
Yeah, California, where affordability is an issue. You're like, oh well, if you got a tech job, you can afford houses. Well, if you have a tech job where it's a coin flip whether or not you get laid off, because they can do the same amount of work as efficiently with 30% of the workforce because of AI advancements. There's a lot of stuff to consider, but I think what people need to remember, the latest stats I saw, annual transactions was 4.1 million or something. We're still expected to do 8% more than we did last year. I think that the way this year started, that number could have been even higher.
For sure.
And was on its way to be higher. And, a little bit of slowdown in how excited, how many people came back to market. One thing I want to mention, Mike, and then I'll get your thoughts too, is one thing I was hoping for, and I think I'm seeing it in this weekly meeting that I go to on Tuesdays, where there's probably 50 or 60 agents that work in and around Sacramento. There was some times as recent as Q4 of 25, a few short months ago, where they can put a home on tour and they can pitch the home. Hey, I've got this 3-bedroom, 2-bath going on. It's in this area. It's $599,000. We had weeks where there was nobody pitching anything, not a lot of stuff coming onto market. We couldn't get through it in 10 minutes yesterday. We had so many people pitching so many properties that are coming to market. And so, part of that's seasonal. So I'm not going to attribute it all to a changing market, but I think that, that is a healthy thing in my opinion, to see for the housing market. Some of the demand come back, some, new inventory and listings coming on. So time will tell, man, but I'm still super optimistic about 26.
Well, you're a mortgage broker. You probably should be optimistic. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, I called for January 1st, 5% increase in transactions. I increased that to 8 or 9% when I saw January's business. I'm like, wow, this is, this momentum's better. But it's going to be really interesting. I talked to Beth Traverso yesterday, who's a number one top 1% agent in Seattle. And she's like, the last 10 days have been a dud. Right. Obviously she's up in the Seattle area. So again, very tech heavy, like the Silicon Valley, but this Iran war, this bump in interest rates, it just hit consumer psychology at a very vulnerable time. And again, what we have learned for the third time is demand will come flying off the shelf at 599 and it disappears at 6.01. And again, if you do the math on the payment, it's like 17 cents, but it is psychological number for folks. And
right. Yeah. Real quick interject here too. The funny part is too, people are still doing 5.99%, but instead of being 0 points or, they pay $500 for it. Now they're going to pay $850 or $1125. So it's really,
which you can get the seller to pay for.
Right. Yeah. And so we're talking, it's minuscule, but you are 100% correct where it's a psychological thing. And it definitely affects, buyer sentiment.
Yeah. And again, consumers are, as an economist, when I got my degree and then I went back and got an MBA, I was always fixated on the consumer. At the time, it was like, well, the consumer is the biggest part of the economy. I might as well study them. But what I've come to learn is the consumers move in a herd. And if you can figure out where the herd's going, you can figure out if they're going to run off a cliff, i.e. I sold everything in 06. And then B, you can figure out if they're going to go do something stupid and you can take advantage of it. So what I'm telling everybody in my community is 2026 is unfortunately going to be a lot like 2025. But if you are a buyer, an investor, you should be smiling ear to ear because you will have more choices and less competition. Days on market will rise and you will be able to find more motivated sellers. I could not imagine a better year for my community than what 2026 will bring.
Yeah. And I think it's a reminder that me and you both know this. We are reminded of it sometimes, and people that like the winds can change relatively quickly. I just thought of something, Mike, because personally I'm selling a 4-unit. It's an area I don't want to be in long-term. And so I'm going to 1031 exchange it. And like timing is so important. This fourplex, went on a couple weeks ago, like Beth is correct. And it's not just in Seattle, it's in markets all over the place. Like buyers just get like a hint of uncertainty and a little bit of, fear creeps in and they just press pause and they stand still.
Yeah.
There was a home in the neighborhood I live in. And like, I watch more than anywhere else, the zip code that I was born and raised in and have spent 45 years in. I've seen sellers list a house, and based on everything that's going on, I go, rates are at 7% during that period. There's not a lot of, buyer demand. They're never going to get 560. And so they try for 60 days. They don't reduce it because they think it's worth that. And they take it off and it doesn't sell. Then during a time where rates go down and there's buyer demand, it would sell like 560 like this, but it's not on, right? Because they're just a property management company. They don't have a lot of real estate experience or whatever. And then things get worse. And I literally saw this play out over the last couple of years, Mike, where they listed this house twice. It didn't sell either time. Both times were a horrendous time to buy, but probably a seller that's not paying attention calls into the property manager and goes, "Hey, we want to sell." And they go, okay, well, we've got somebody licensed because we got to have a real estate license as a property management company. So, hey, Bill, dust off your, MLS or your license to get this thing listed. And, so it's real that like real estate move slow when you think about home values and some of this stuff. Like, you're not going to see stuff fall off a cliff 40% in 1 year, but the sentiment and, certain markets, small subset markets can move fast in how things are moving, how quick they're selling, how many buyers are active, and all that other stuff. And so, to your point, somebody who's active, one rental at a time in the school community, talking to people, they've got 7 or 8 people that are all focused on Columbus, Ohio. They know the market, they know the neighborhoods, like, they're going to win. So they should be excited. And when you said it too, it got me excited because more and more I'm working with people across the country, and I'm the guy who structures the mortgage and can figure out the math stuff, but I can't be a master of all the markets. So I just have to ask you,
Right.
what do you know? Why is this a good deal? What are your goals? I can structure the mortgage and do the math part of it for you, but the market part of it, the getting a good deal part of it, that is, the onus is on the savvy investor, which, shout out to One Rental at a Time in the great school community. Those people are sharpening their swords every day.
No, that's exactly that's the message I want, right? This is, in my opinion, a horrible time to be a home seller. It's a great time to be an investor. Why? Because we don't have to buy. We're supposed to do the work, create great deals, deals of a lifetime, find value. This is our time. This is the year operators win, right? 21 and 22, it was easy. Everybody made money. This year is going to be hard. And it's only my community that's going to show up every day, do the work, write hundreds of offers, find the motivated seller, do the creative financing, whatever it is. And, that's okay. This is the year of the operators, the year of the grinders. It just is what it is. And, we'll see where we go from here.
Yep. I agree, man. So, one last shout out. If you're not in the One Rental at a Time school community, you should be.
Get in there.
Some of the greatest minds, and the best part is, the super seasoned best of the best are sharing all their secrets, all their insights, all the advice with somebody who's brand new and looking for their first property in 2026. So
we have almost 700 people building wealth at all levels. And it is a very active forum community. I think we have 12 accountability calls, at least one a day, every day. Thousands of dollars in free education. It's just a wild value add. $20, 67 pennies a day. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I got to remind myself too. I don't do a good job promoting it. I share the picture on Facebook with me and my family wearing the Wealth Builder shirts, and people are like, "What is this? I want to get involved. What are you doing?" I go to the gym, and the guy goes, "Hey, I saw your post on Instagram, and I want to get involved. I own a home. I just built an ADU," and I'm like, what am I doing when the people in my circle don't know what's going on with One Rental at a Time? So
come on,
join that community. If you want to connect with me and my team, mtmg.com, get connected with us, schedule a call. More than likely it's going to be me who's going to call you. I want to do the intake. Even if it's, something we can't do or don't do, I want to steer you in the right direction. If you're an investor in the states we're working in, I'd love an opportunity to, help you out, whether that's get you pre-approved or structure something on a current mortgage or refinance. So mtmg.com.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Have a good week.
Yep. Thanks, Mike.
Mm-hmm.